Hello, welcome back to Basement Movie Room. So we're here to review Upgrade! I can't help but say it like that because of idiocracy, but we're reviewing Upgrade, which is a film from a few years ago, directed by Lee Whannell. You may know from, I believe, Saw. He was an actor in Saw, I believe. And starring Logan Marshall-Greene, really the only character that I truly recognize, the actor that I truly recognize in this. So Upgrade's the story of Gray Trace, that's his name, Gray Trace is his actual name, in the show, in the movie. He and his wife are in their, you kind of open up, you're introduced to Gray, who's kind of like an anti-technology guy. And him and his wife go to deliver a car to a guy who's like a tech billionaire type guy. He lives underground in this like compound, and they're delivering a Smokey and the Bandit Firebird to him.
It's pretty awesome.
So when they're there, his wife, introduces herself, and she's like, "Oh my God, you're so and so." I can't remember his name right now. And she's like, "I work in a field similar to yours," and he's like, "No, your field's nowhere like mine." And he shows him this chip that is like this ultimate thing that's going to change the world. So as they leave, their car malfunctions, and it's like an auto driving car that you don't even have windows in, essentially. Malfunctions and crashes, and these guys come up and they kill Gray's wife and they paralyze Gray. So Gray's in the hospital. Gets out of the hospital, and he's a quadriplegic. He can't use his arms or his legs, and he's offered the opportunity. He tries to kill himself. He's in the hospital. He's offered the opportunity by this same tech billionaire, to get his use of his legs back through this chip that he had showed them earlier. So he agrees, and they install this chip in him called STEM, and he gains the use of his limbs back. However, STEM starts talking to him at some point, and he realizes that STEM actually can control him, and that, just because he can use his legs and arm doesn't mean STEM is maybe a good thing.
Yeah.
But he also uses his opportunity to investigate who killed his wife, discovers that STEM can overtake his body and help him in this endeavor, and you get some pretty good action scenes. Pretty awesome fight scenes. Like the camera work and the fight scenes in this are amazing.
It works so well.
Like, it's fantastic. Like the angles that they use and the movements of the camera and things like that are very good. So he goes and finds this one guy.
It's not the shaky camera.
Yeah, it's not.
It's actually working with the movements of the fight.
Yeah, and we're talking about as well that like his movements are very robotic because it's STEM controlling him, and STEM's essentially an AI. He's a robot, but he's allowing Gray to control it, but it's still very robotic. It's like these kind of movements, like very very particular movements.
When he gets up,
it's very like very
RoboCop,
very intentional what he does.
Yeah.
So he goes, he starts investigating this murder because the police aren't doing anything, and you meet the police detective that's investigating murder. It's a young black lady who's investigating the murder, and he's not, happy that they haven't solved anything. So he decides to investigate himself. He signs this agreement that he'll still pretend like he's in a wheelchair. So he takes his wheelchair out and is investigating this murder. And he, of course, gets out of his wheelchair and goes in this guy's house to see if there's anything to indicate. Because STEM had figured out where this guy lives because he had seen like a tattoo that he recreated that showed where this guy lives that the police probably couldn't have done, and there's no reason for him to
all
call.
traces from that,
So he goes to this guy's house, and the guy ends up coming home while Gray's in the house, and Gray gets in a fight. And essentially STEM says, "Gray, let me take over," and STEM is pretty badass in the fight.
But Gray's very hesitant.
Yeah, Gray's hesitant about this. He doesn't like it. He's not a fighter, really.
Yeah.
And they end up killing this guy through a pretty brutal knife cut.
Yeah.
I mean, it is rough, but Like again, the fight scene is fantastic. Like there's that whole like where he bounces off the ground, the camera's like,
Yep.
like that. It's amazing camera work.
No, yeah.
And it may be CGI, I don't know.
I don't know.
But it's really fantastic camera work. And that's not the only fight. But that fight in particular kind of lets you know kind of how the movie's going to work. So Gray moves on. The police are starting to investigate that murder, the one that Gray actually did, or Stem technically did. And Stem's talking to Gray, and Gray's talking to Stem, trying to figure out who the next person they can go to is, which leads them to a bar called, I don't know, Old Ones or something like that? Old Bones. Old Bones. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he finds another one of the guys who kind of hijacked him. And, oh man, that scene is rough as well because Gray kind of gives over to Stem to torture this guy, and it's like cutting this guy up.
Basically, death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah, it's rough to see. It's rough to see. You don't see it, but you hear it.
Yeah,
and then you see the results.
Yeah, that does so much for that scene. Not actually seeing, like the first kill, that was cool. Second, it was just like, oh my god, just hearing it without seeing it.
Yeah,
like, I don't need a visual on this one.
And it's very knife.
It's
knife
done
frontage.
well. Yeah. So good.
So, Gray gets more information there, and he keeps moving forward with his investigation, but he's starting to think that Stem isn't all it's cracked up to be, and then Stem tells him that the guy who created Stem is trying to shut him down. And so he has to get this hacker. He makes it to the hacker, and the hacker kind of frees Stem from the requirements of the inventor, and which allows Logan Marshall-Greene's character Gray to escape the guys and kill the guys who are after him, who are the other couple of guys who killed his wife and paralyzed him. And the interesting thing, these guys have like guns in their hands. That's kind of cool. Like they load the guns right up here on their bicep. It's very, very kind of cool thing. And like all this is like future technology, but it's like technology you can see actually happening. It's not like so futuristic you can't see it.
We were talking about that. We were like,
Yeah.
we're not too far away.
Yeah, we're not far away. That's like 50 or 100 years away, probably at best. I mean, there's like Alexa type stuff and robotics and AI.
Your island counter is basically a
touch
touchscreen.
It's a
computer.
Yeah. It's
it's not far off.
Very much close, for sure. So Gray ultimately is led to believe that the creator of STEM is the guy who had his wife killed and him paralyzed to have this implanted. So he ultimately goes to this guy's house because he knows where it is. I mean, he delivered a car there at the first of the movie. And ultimately that guy reveals that he's not the one in charge and that STEM has been running his company for years and that STEM wanted a human body.
Just needed a body.
And that's where I'm going to stop because I don't want to reveal the end of this movie. It's already spoiled for you, but I don't want to reveal the end of this movie because I think it's an amazing ending.
I really enjoyed it too.
It's an amazing ending.
Yeah.
The movie overall is pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah.
It's like not enough people watch this movie. I think it's got a pretty good following. You've never seen it. I've seen it before.
But I've heard about it,
yeah.
and I've heard nothing but good things about it leading up to this. And
yeah,
this is one I.
Did you look up
about it?
Who did the score?
Oh yeah.
You know what the score reminded me of? It's Beyond the Black Rainbow. That kind of like hard, like kind of like synth score.
Well, I was thinking, you said it, Blade Runner.
Yeah. Vangelis, who just
yeah,
died.
Yeah, that was
Rip.
That was the first thing that came through my
Yeah.
head, but it was not. It was a. I was trying to look up a composer.
Look it up. We got like
Yeah.
8 minutes.
Composer. It was like Jed something. It was off of grade movie. Composer. Jed Palmer.
Jed Palmer did the music for this movie, which I've never heard of Jed Palmer. So, but I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was didn't take away from the movie. It added a little bit to it.
Yeah.
You know, everything you want in a composer. You don't want to be too overbearing.
Yeah.
So
it worked. So yeah, that's Upgrade.
Yeah.
I mean, Upgrade's fantastic. Really cool action. Really kind of interesting story.
I love the camera work.
Yeah, the camera work.
With the fights, it added an element to this movie that you didn't really get with like movies like The Matrix. I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely Matrix-esque.
But I think you brought it up. It was better.
I thought the fighting was better than like Matrix Resurrections.
Better. Yeah,
the fighting's way better.
Oh, 100%.
So,
but like the camera angles and stuff, it did it for me.
Yeah.
So,
all right, let's rate it.
Yeah.
What you got?
I gotta go with a solid 4. Solid 4. Got a little slow at times. Like, okay, let's move it along to the next thing. But pacing was okay.
Yeah.
Ending was amazing.
Yeah.
That did it for me.
Yeah. I'm at a 4 as well.
Yeah, camera work did it for me. I mean, kind of figured out the plot. Yeah, you kind of figured out what was going on.
Yeah, you do.
So,
you know, poor man's Tom Hardy is fantastic.
Oh yeah. That wasn't Tom Hardy.
No, it's Logan Marshall-Green.
Oh, that's right.
Looks a lot like Tom Hardy.
He does. Prometheus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
poor man's
4
Tom Hardy.
and 4.
Fofo.
We're equal. It's a must watch in my
Check
opinion.
it out.
You should check it out.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching Basement Movie Room. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
We're going to finish the job we started. You didn't know that I'm a ninja. While I am state of the art, I am not a ninja.